Hello, hello. Let's all take a seat. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight, as is mandatory, and I will remind your colleagues. We are almost done with our 5th week, and it has been such an amazing experience being here with all of you and also being at these lectures and learning from the incredible artists and scholars that we have coming to visit. I would like to introduce our speaker. Introduce the person who's going to introduce our speaker. I'm not introducing the speaker. And I'm really thrilled to turn over the floor tonight to third-year low-res student, as well as SAIC faculty member, Andres Hernandez, to introduce Avery for tonight.
This one. Down. Oh, it's still bright. It's turning your way. I see. I got you. That better? Okay, I got you. The first rule of speaking is getting the light right, Avery? Come on. All right, good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Andres, and I'm a third-year student here in the low-res program as well as faculty at the Art Institute. I also happen to personally know the powerhouse artist, writer, and performer gracing the stage tonight, so I was pleasantly surprised to be asked to introduce Avery R. Young this evening. As is our tradition in low res, we begin these moments with a poem. Tonight I've selected a poem by Krista Franklin, another amazing artist writer, and a dear friend of ours. The poem I'll read is entitled Call, from Krista's book, Too Much Midnight. I think it's quite appropriate for our current setting. And the poem is called Call. I have to channel Krista now, which is tough. So that's tough when you're reading your friend's work. Call. For the new images, the new visions, that new. Those ideas that unfold life like newborn fingers, unfurl to grasp your fat finger. Images that beckon your gaze like a soon-to-be lover. Images that break like dawn, slice death down with a barrage of paper cuts. No more boots on necks, no more nooses, no more gas for air, no chokeholds, no more mobile videos of backs blown out in open fields, no more women's hands poking through the broken slats of misogyny's dungeons. No more teddy bear totems and elementary school photos on the 5 o'clock news. No more it's not me, no more it doesn't affect me, no more tisk, no more tears, guilt, and Twitter trolls. It is you. Here's a mirror. Look behind you, beyond you. Here's a portal. Jump through it. Make magic. Follow the breadcrumbs, the North Star, the scary crackle of tree branches just ahead in the dark. Take the darkness into your fists and smash it on the warm stones of daylight. Make daylight. No more caskets for us to all crawl into. No more remixed autopsy recitations. No more black masked mammies. No more brown bodies on your cooling boards and studio floors. No more satirical snark crafted to suffocate. No more grabbed bodies. No more public-private intellectual masturbating. No more 20th century icons as dead talking heads to justify injustice. Artists, writers, intellectuals, inventors. Tina Turner already told you, we don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. Make a new home, a 21st century vision, a future image. Get up from the banquet table of the feast of American madness. Wipe your mouth and turn the entire table over. Grab the hand of the person next to you and make a break for it. French kiss the idea of humanity. If you find your imagination cannot stop itself from churning out the scripts of the death machines, pull its plug, dismantle it, reprogram it, dream daylight, manufacture daylight. We are the magicians. Make magic. Another plug for Krista Franklin, Too Much Midnight. When I was thinking of what to say in my introduction this evening, I immediately started daydreaming about Pee Wee Marquette MC at the old Birdland Jazz Club in New York City, introducing Art Blakey and other jazz luminaries, or Boondini Brown rhyming and taunting opponents with Muhammad Ali in front of the cameras and inside the boxing ring, or Danny Ray, most people don't know about Danny Ray, the MC and personal valet infamously cloaking James Brown with a cape on stage during performances, or Cynthia Robinson, who also kind of falls to the back, setting the stage for Sly and the Family Stone, or rapper Mos Def introducing poets for Def Poetry Jam. All of these people had the difficult job of standing alongside powerful and transformative performers and preparing the world for the immensity of what they were about to experience. Y'all gonna get an experience tonight for sure. Tonight I am faced with a similar challenge, and I know Avery won't take anything less than excellence, so I best to rise to the occasion. Chicago's inaugural Poet Laureate, Avery R. Young, is a true West Sider from the Austin neighborhood of Chicago, an artist, musician, poet, band leader, arts administrator, teacher, and preacher. He's always affectionately Rev for me in my heart, as well as a composer and a librettist, which I had to figure out how to say that word. Never said that word before. Y'all, he's currently developing opera that debuts in spring 2026 at the Lyric Opera House of Chicago. Am I right? I think so. You best believe Avery will turn up and turn out that opera house. Avery is co-director of Floating Museum, an art collective that creates new models exploring relationships between art, community, architecture, and public institutions. And he is also a serious visual artist, which a lot of people don't know. This blew my mind when I first encountered his artwork while he was in residency at Arts and Public Life here in Chicago from 2012 to 2013. Avery is not to be contained by your titles, your laws, and your limited thinking and imagination. His wisdom is expansive, and I truly believe the world ain't ready for him yet, if at all. For me, it's not what Avery is, but what he ain't, and what he ain't is complacent with the situation of his people and the world. He is here on this planet in this beautiful form to shake shit up and get it right and in order. If you step away from an experience with Avery's voice, words, images, or presence, and you ain't moved and moving with the spirit like Carrie Robinson and her tambourine at the old Maxwell Street Market singing Power to Live Right, then I'm sorry, baby, I don't know what to tell you. And so without further ado, introducing the heart and soul of Chicago, the energy, inspiration, wisdom, and power of Avery R. Young.
So look here, I owe that one $5 for sure. after we over with, I got you, son. $5. So when you're at the juke joint, you have one for your bus fare, one for the jukebox, and a little left over. That's what it goes. Now I'm supposed to tell somebody I'm ready. Cut. There it is. So before I start, let me preface this. I'm not a lecturer. Where I live don't happen. I hope you're using the microphone. I'm sorry. You see how this ain't gonna be regular? Already. So, I have been to places where it don't look like that. And that's Normal, Illinois, or Bloomington, Illinois don't look like where I grew up. Let alone Lisbon, right? But I could see being on the street in Brixton or Nassau why artists from those respective places make the work that they make because of certain things that pass through your body. I'm also black in a place called America. So there are certain things that my body is aware of that maybe somebody else with another modifier is not, which also informs the art I make. Because what I refuse to do with my art is act like or make art that doesn't consider all my modifiers. Because I also refuse to walk in any room and leave 2 modifiers at the door. Because I don't walk in the church. The church can't handle all of this. It don't get all of this. If the disco can't handle all this, it don't get all this. If SAIC can't handle all this, I'm gonna leave right now. Right? And driver. That one time in the early 80s when that uncola teacher told me I was made of dirt. It's a true story. So what is like at what they call the driver? What is making you press the gas or pump the brakes? I'm in the classroom, 3rd grade. I get 100 on my spelling test. It's compound words. I remember to double the consonants. Little white girl next to me did not. She failed miserably. And the 8-year-old I was at the time, I looked over at her and I said, ha ha. I got 100, you didn't. And at the time, to give you some context, the teacher was giving like stars on the board. Like if you got 100, you got a gold star. If you got like a 90, you got a silver star, like star system, right? And that test, because I passed and she failed, I was way in front of her. So that's half the reason I was like, I'm gonna get the chocolate bar. You're not. And that's what she gave, world's finest. That's what the lady gave us, a chocolate bar. But anyway, I tease her, she starts crying. And Vanessa, that white woman, walked over to her and said, what's wrong? And she said, Avery's making fun of me. And she says, oh, don't worry. You're made of sand. Avery's made of dirt. Being the 8-year-old I was at the time, my mama and daddy did it, her mama and daddy did it. She ain't no better than me. I'm the one with the 100. She failed. Then I got sent to the office. To give you some context, my big mama raised me. She was born in 1923 in a place called Lexington, Mississippi. She grew up in a world where if her father was walking down the street and a white man was walking towards him, he had to cross the street. So her rule to me when I went to this school where it was me and 7 other black children was, please don't have these white people calling my house. You get in that classroom, you sit at your desk, and you do whatever them people tell you to do. Don't ever have them call my house. But guess what they did that day? Ring, 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 ring. But it wasn't her house, it was her job. She was working on a line. So she had to get off the assembly line to come to the phone to figure out what this boy done did now. Lady said, I'm being inappropriate. I'm talking about sexual intercourse in the classroom. I said, well, hold up. I didn't say sexual intercourse. I said, did it? What is sexual intercourse? She lied. She lied. She lied on me, McMama. She lied. She telling stories. I get in trouble because I broke the rule, right? I could tell her, well, that lady basically called me dirty, and I was just telling, like, that's not even how I go. That's not how I go, or whatever. I couldn't say that. I had to take the punishment. I found out that day that doing it and sexual intercourse is the same thing. And I wrote a poem because in my head, I was going to ask permission to read the poem on Monday and make her cry. Because this poem is going to drag her for filth. So I write the poem. Monday come. I ask for permission. Can I read this poem? She said, sure, Avery. You can read the poem. I read the poem, and she didn't cry. She went, oh my gosh, Avery, that is beautiful. You wrote that all by yourself? This motherfucker crazy. Then she enters this poem into a poetry contest, and I win the poetry contest. And I'm like, this lady crazy. I'm like, but what I learned in that moment, because again, and I'm telling y'all, I just left a group of kids, and I'm trying to tell you, I lead along with now Lansana, the creative track, and I promise you, these are some of the most talented six kids. There's just 6 of them. They some of the most talented writers I've ever worked with. I've told all of them the same thing I told Jamila Woods when I first met her. Don't stop writing. Don't stop writing. You don't stop writing. I promise you, you keep writing, you're going to be super duper bad with this. And that's what I done told all 6 of them. And there's people in this room now, I know I ain't going to tell 6 children all the same thing. But like, that's how confident I am with these children. And I'm telling you, they give 0 fucks about writing. 0! But they are like every day writing something. I'm like, damn. Ooh. Damn. And they just, whatever you say, You gonna stop yelling at me? Okay, yeah. And I'm like, dang, Gina, this is new. So instead of just doing all this, all I gotta do is be still, listen, and write it down, and y'all gonna listen to me and like it? Okay. What else I gotta tell this motherfucker about herself? What else I gotta tell her about herself? And she's just reading it and entering it into contest after contest after contest. She want me to be in the oratory contest. She want me to be in the spelling. Of course, she want me to be in the spelling bee. Of course. Guess who will say in the spelling bee though? She can't be in the spelling bee. I can be in the spelling bee though. But that's what hooks me up. And I've been writing that poem. I've been doing that art ever since. You ain't gonna tell me I am of less value because of my modifiers. I'm gonna tell you how super duper I am because of them. And you're gonna like it. Although in my brain, I'm dragging you for filth. I'm dragging you for filth in my brain. Poems get to do that. Poems get, well, art, I tell anybody. 3,093, and they want to know the truth of what happens in 2025, they have to look to the art. You're going to find it in the art. You want to know what happened to Frida Kahlo? What y'all got to do? She painted it. You ain't got to ask her nothing. Is in that one, then in that one, and in that one, and in that one. Because you look at Frida, and I'm mentioning Frida just very specifically, because what she was painting, what was going through, what was she going through with her what? Her body. And I don't know who listen to me that does, well, I do know some of y'all that do art. But I don't know what everybody in here does. But if you are thinking about it, or thinking about what should I do, start with the body. You can always trust the body. The beautiful thing about the children that we work with in the summer is they don't have that thing. They react. They don't respond. And the only thing that's different from reaction and response is you take the beat to think, strategize. What is going to come out in my favor? That's what a response is. Reaction, I think that's beautiful. I really do. And some of it be funny, but I'm that type of one that'll look at something and go, ha ha, but stop. Ha, but stop. I'm a mandated reporter. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. But reaction is beautiful. It's what the body wants to do when it wants to do it. Doctor, right now, take a ballot, hit you on your knee, you're gonna kick. That's because that's what the body want to do. The body not gonna say, well, let me think. Right? And they haven't figured out how to finesse reacting and responding, because they got one in front of their age and they still trying to figure it all out. And I promise you, I got way more than one in front of my age. 2 birthdays ago, I figured it out. 2 birthdays ago, I figured something out. So it's gonna be what it be. It's gonna be what it be. Sunday morning juke joint. You know that part in The Color Purple, the movie, the first movie, not the one with Fantasia, the one with Whoopi. Right? Whoopi asked Miss Seeley. There's a scene where the choir is singing God is trying to tell you something, and Sugar Avery is over there at the juke joint doing what Sugar Avery does. And at some point, Sugar Avery and the folk at the juke joint start singing what the choir is singing, and then they leave the juke joint and they rush into the church. Maybe God is trying. Then she walks over to her daddy and she says to her daddy, see, Daddy, sinners have souls too. And she hugs him and they embrace. And all that church and doctrine that he was holding to not let his daughter have any access to him melted away. And then he gave her access to him, because that's all she wanted, was to give her access. She wanted to be able to give him access to her. And for me, that's what I'm doing with Sunday morning juke joint. I lived in the house. If I was sitting in the hallway, Millie Jackson is playing in the basement, Big Mama's playing Mahalia Jackson. And so at some point in my ear, there ain't no difference between a gospel song and a blues song. And theoretically, there really ain't no difference. One is saying baby, 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 and the other one saying Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And if you put baby and Jesus together, if you put baby and Jesus together, you got Sam Cooke. You put baby and Jesus together, you got Sam Cooke. And so I was talking to Cecil McDonald Jr., who's a photographer, and we was talking about Marvin Gaye. and his conflict with the profane and his spirituality. And I'm like, that's real sad. But if there wasn't a conflict, we don't get Sanctified Lady. We don't get Let's Get It On. We don't get What's Going On if there was no conflict. Because What's Going On is his preacher. Let's Get It On is his, is his deviant. But y'all see what I'm saying? But his art through his body allowed him to do both. And we in a world, we in America that say to us, we got to pick one. And the crazy part about America, I don't know if y'all realize, about a couple of days ago, it was the 4th of July. And firecrackers get on my nerve. I'm old enough to say that now. Firecrackers get on my nerve. I never really been too particularly kind or liking of them. That's my big mama. Never too particularly liked them anyway. But they get on my nerves. Because what are y'all firing these firecrackers for? It can't be you love this motherfucker so much. It can't be. Because this shit is hell. Sorry, nephew. Come to there. Y'all in this country we living in today? That dude out of his mind. And I had to submit a poem. It's a golden shovel poem. And the golden shovel poem, it was a poem form invented by Terrence Hayes, inspired by the We Real Cool poem of Gwendolyn Brooks. And what you do is you take the words of a poem or a song or whatever that inspires you, and you make it the right border you make the words in that poem or phrase the right border of each line of a new poem, right? So we had to do that with language from the first 2 paragraphs of the Declaration of Independence. And I'm a nerd. I'm gonna tell y'all this is true. It's true, I'm a nerd. That's why I get 100 on my spelling test. Hashtag no shade to those who don't. But anyway, I'm back. I get into this deep dive of these men who would write such language and own people. All men are created equal except the ones we own. And to push that a little further, we gonna divide them into 3/5 of a thing. And put our name on this sheet of paper that is supposed to liberate ourselves from the tyranny of this motherfucker King George. And if you read, these men were putting their lives at risk. They were committing treason. They were courageous. They were brave. They don't add that they was making babies with women that they owned. Thomas Jefferson, the day he wrote it, the Declaration of Independence, he sent his valet, Robert Hemings, to deliver it to Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin puts his notes on it and then sends it back to him, and then Robert Hemings brings the paper back to Thomas Jefferson. Robert Hemings at the time is 14, 15 years old. Robert Hemings is the brother to Sally Hemings, the son of Betty Hemings and John Wells. John Wells is the father of Martha Jefferson. I'm like, damn, Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry can't write this. This don't make no sense. But he's married, and in inheritance, when John Wells died, Martha gets her brothers and sisters, basically. And then they all come to be servants to Thomas Jefferson. And then we all know the story between him and Sally Hemings. I'm like, this is just scandalous. It's real scandalous. But they write in this paper, and this dude in the first draft is like, hey, we got to get rid of the slaves. I'm in love with one of them. I'm back. We got to get rid of the slaves. And them men say, take that part out. Take that part out. And they debate over this. The reason why we don't have is July 4th instead of July 2nd, because they spent the 2 days debating over whether or not they was going to keep this thing that said slavery is wrong. 2 days. And then on the 4th, people be popping these firecrackers. Oh, I'm like, what? Are y'all popping these firecrackers for? Is it just to make noise? I knew a man, I call him Pops affectionately. July 4th got on that dude's all of his last nerve. That dude, because he was a Vietnam vet, would be laying underneath the bed, curled up. Everybody else said, pop, 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 pop. And him, it sounded like a war zone. It was a war zone. It ain't about what it sounded like. His body takes him back, because the body is powerful, especially when you're making art. One little girl, we call her Scandal, but we got a whole bunch of names. Her new name is Taraji. Her new name is Taraji, because she's an actress. I'm trying to tell you, Vanessa. She lied real good. You hear me? And so, I ain't got that much tolerance. Because she walked into class one day. I said, hey, you right? She said, no, my mama. I said, wait, hold up. Well, let me offer you the liberty of choice. You should go back downstairs and tell them you don't like writing, that you don't know nothing about writing. She go downstairs, she come back up. I said, what you doing here? I get a text. She lied. She and her mama wants her to be right. I said, okay. She lying. Okay. Do me this favor. Right now, write 16 lines of something that you treasure the most in your bedroom. She don't write anything on the paper. She's just staring. She don't know. She fucking with Avery Young. I've seen real harder than that one. I've seen harder than this. I done dealt with it. I said, well, what is it? She says, a pair of shoes. I said, write that down. Who gave them to you? My cousin Deshauna. I said, that's the title. The shoes. I said, who gave them to you? My cousin Deshauna. I said, that's the second line. I said, who they belong to? My cousin Deshaun. Now, this is when you teach, you gotta listen. She said, Deshauna gave her the shoes, but they belonged to a cousin named Deshaun. Now, in my head, Deshaun, they twins. They related. Right? I go, okay, well, why she give them to you? And then she proceeds to write 32 lines. 32 lines of one of the most beautiful poems I ever read about somebody missing their cousin. And to my point at the top, she goes to me, I didn't even know I could do that. But you told me 16, and I just felt it, so I just kept going. You see what we call Taraj? You see what we call Taraj? Because she extra. She is real extra. It was just going through my body. And she wrote this little joint, and I'm like, okay, I did the same thing at her age. Whatever I was experiencing, I was writing. I'm still doing it at my age now. Whatever I am experiencing through this body, I write. The thing about me, I think that's different than most poets, is that I've decided, right when I got this residency over at what's the name of the place? The Incubator, Arts of Public Life. Shout out to y'all. That I was going on a journey to see materials outside of ink and page that could craft a poem. Because for me, all that I do is a poem or crafting poetry. The sound, the visual art, all of that is poems. I just use different materials to do that. Now it gets crazy because in this art world, I remember Baba Patrick McCoy. He gonna fuss at me that I'm telling this story right now. But when Baba Patrick walked into the studio, he looked around. He said, "What you do?" I said, "I'm a poet." "And what is this?" He went, "What is this?" I said, "These are poems." "They don't look like poems. This is like visual art or something." I'm like, "They are poems." And then I started laughing. I ran to Kristen and Steven. I was like, "Guess what? Baba Patrick just drugged me for filth." And I love it. I love it. I don't know. Baba Patrick ain't got to spend two minutes on you at all. But the fact that he would say anything to me, I was like, ah. Years later, when all that artwork that was laying around in the studio was in a book with a binder on it, Baba Patrick was probably one of the first people in line at that book release. And he was like, "My God, young man, you're brilliant." I was like, I'm going to pass out. I was like, this is the stuff that was I know. But you had it like everywhere. You didn't have it page 1, page 2, page 3 yet. You just had it everywhere. I said, because I didn't know what page 1 or page 2 or page 3 was going to be. When I was making it, I was just paying attention to what my body wanted to do or what it wanted to say. I was walking through gangways and alleys, picking up dolls that was laying on the ground, finding tape and taping it to paper, talking about, "Oh, that's Billie Holiday." And I'm going to tell this poem about Billie Holiday and the shit she went through in this place called America, what she experienced through her body, and why this woman was like America's first Whitney Houston. Girl with a rough background that they put a sparkling dress on and said, "Go out here and sing in front of these white people who won't let you walk in the same door that they walk in." And what they want you to go to the radio station and pancake your face on the radio station. Don't nobody see nobody on the radio. A man writes a poem about lynching, can't get nobody to sing or record it. Sends it over to Billie Holiday. A record label opens itself up just to press the record. Her first $1 million seller. That record sold 1 million copies. Strange Fruit. Do y'all know about Strange Fruit, the song Strange Fruit? Blood on Leaves, Blood on the Root. That's a song about lynching. She went to jail. But the record company that had sold 1 billion records and the person who wrote the song ain't never cut no check to get her up out of there. Whatever money she had, she died with that money inside of her body. And I just thought that was like, I'm going to spend 30 days talking about this woman and all the motherfuckers that will come out of her mouth. All the fish she used to swing at people. And the baby she wanted. And the men that lived next door to her that wasn't nowhere to be, that wasn't really cool to be around on no particular day. That, I believe, is what she's carrying when she's singing Good Morning Heartache. That's what she's carrying in her body when she's singing God Bless the Child That Got His Own. One of my favorite songs of hers is one of her last recordings. It says, "Please don't talk about me when I'm gone." And you hear, and I like her last recordings, just like Whitney Houston, the final recordings, that voice wasn't "You Give Good Love to Me." That voice wasn't "And I Will Always Love You." That voice was serious. Bobby Brown. Some babies, some drugs, some alcohols, some good times, some bad times. And I actually think it was way more interesting to listen to because it had way more texture. But yeah, if you want her to sing "I Will Always Love You," she sound horrible to you because she don't sound like the record. But she ain't supposed to sound like the record. Nobody's supposed to sound like the record. The record was one moment in time, and you in front of my face is another moment in time. And you getting what my body has gone through. So to me, the most soulful Whitney Houston ever was that moment on Oprah Winfrey Show. And when she sang "I Didn't Know My Own Strength," she don't sound like "I Will Always Love You" or "I Will Run to You," "Saving All My Love for You." She don't sound nothing like that. But what she got in her is that Sunday morning juke joint. She got enough in her where God go, okay, you cool. And she got enough in her to say, Jesus, leave me alone right now. I gotta go do something. Turn your head. It's humanity, basically. It's humanity. I'm always trying to figure out how my work can be an extension of my humanity. I look for what's human in the work. I don't necessarily look for what's perfect or what's right. Tom Lucas, for those of you know who Tom Lucas is, I went to, here we go with Krista, my adventures with Krista Franklin. She's like, you should take a printing class. Okay. I take a printing class, and Tom says to me, I like it. You like your work juicy, don't you? Because shit dripping everywhere. He said, that's all right. He said, that's all right. Because I see your hand. And he said, that's good. You show your hand. That's a beautiful thing, showing your hand. And I was like, okay. And I took the note, and I moved on. I'm like, okay, I'm going to show my hand a little bit more. If you get neck bone, there's a lot of hand stuff going on in the book. Because Tom Lucas was like, fine, show your hand. And I'm like, okay, I will. And in life, or in this art making, there's been some people who just guided or informed my hand. One would be Nina Simone. I'm up north at my big brother's house, and 60 Minutes is on TV. The Strange Fruit comes on, and it's not Billie Holiday, it's Nina Simone. And when I tell you, if I was a tree and she was a lumberjack, I'm like, oh my soul, oh my soul, who is this? Who done sing that song like that? They're like, that's Nina Simone. Nina? Not Nino? Nina. I'm like, okay. You ain't heard Nina Simone? No, I've never heard of Nina Simone. Well, sit down and learn a Nina Simone song. Sat down, learned 2 or 3 Nina Simone songs. Went to Records the next day. Bought everything Nina Simone in that bin, you hear me? Bought everything, ran home. I'm so excited about Nina Simone, I called Big Mama. Here we go, Big Mama. Here we go. You know this? Fine, brown, handsome man. You wanna? And she was like, that's Nina Simone. She a communist. I'm gonna say what? I'm gonna say what? Oh, yeah. My dear made us stop listening to her. She a communist. I said, what? What you mean? She a communist? I like her more than I thought. I like her more than I thought. Let me buy a book. Let me buy a book right out about this lady. Because Big Mama like, my mom stopped us from listening to her. She a whole communist. I said, oh, shut the door. I said, shut the door. I read the book. I love me some Nina Simone. And let me tell y'all why I love me some Nina Simone. I love me Nina Simone because she was a wreck. But like, in the best ways. Because she's like us. What I'm trying to do in the work. Them babies getting blown up at that church bothered her. Bothered her to her like molecules. So she said, oh my God, Alabama got me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. But everybody knows about Mississippi, goddamn. And I don't know what y'all know about the song, but she telling America, y'all too slow. But that's just the trouble. You too slow. You ain't got to live next to me. I just want my quality. I'm like, I like her. I like her. She tell it like it is. I like her. And I also like J Boogie. For those who don't know who J Boogie is, that's James Baldwin. I call him J Boogie. I do. For years, I've been calling him J Boogie. I call him J Boogie because I believe James Baldwin was way light years ahead. Because the sad part about America is the shit that James Baldwin was saying about it in 1952, he can say about it today. And wouldn't nobody say, you lying. That's the sad part about America. But the beautiful thing about him was that he saw what America was on, and on the 6 o'clock news, he would tell them, well, this the shit you on. And he was so eloquent, America didn't know he was getting dragged for Phil. America didn't know. What do you tell that man that Malcolm X said that the most segregated hour in America is high noon Sunday? Ooh. The whole reason why there's black people in a black church is because white folks wouldn't let them in there. And you can't tell black folk in the Baptist and the Kojic churches that y'all doing what y'all doing over there. What you talking about, Abe? Voodoo?
Right.
Yeah! That's the devil. No, mama, that's you. You can't tell black folk that. And I'm like, colonization, baby. It done did a thing. You hear me? It done did a thing. And my work, that's I'm trying to like decolonize myself, my body. And whoever see it is witness to it. And then whoever gonna get on board is whoever gonna get on board. Cause I don't claim to be a leader of no sort fashion. I'm gonna lead you to maybe some greens and some cornbread and a spade game. You hear me? If you following me. You may not want greens and cornbread or a spade game, but if you following me, that's where you're going to end up. Now, if they playing Uno, I'm leaving. Uno get real. It get real. Uno get real. You hear me? I never seen nobody get that much mad to draw 2 cards. I don't see nobody get that mad to draw 2 cards. Uno, I leave. I probably tell you, I leave if y'all playing Uno. Y'all break up the Uno cards, I'm bouncing. It's traumatic. It's traumatic. But I'm doing that. I'm getting it out of there. And then I'm thinking, that's what Gil Scott-Heron was doing too. He was decolonizing himself. And I like him because he's just real. He told you, him and Oscar Brown Jr. and Stevie Wonder, to me, lives a life that they write about every influence. Some people, they stick with love or stick with Rage Against the Machine and all this shit is political, all this shit is, come do me, baby. But they like, I'm gonna write a song about this 3-year-old girl looking at me. I'm gonna write the song about the man on my neck. I'm gonna stop and write the song about this, and I'm gonna stop and that's powerful to me. Because again, it's about what's in the body. So, I'm gonna do some things. Is that cool? I'm gonna do some things to show you my art through my body. Now, I like to write, and I like to make. I like, with the Floating Museum, I'm into like curating things. And I'm still hesitant to call myself as such because I think a curator's doing something different than I am doing. I'm more like Bobby Flay. Hey, come over here and cook with this. And cook with that. And cook with this and cook with that. I know you normally cook with eggplant. But what you gonna do with this rutabaga I got in front of you? Right? And I think a curator is more like, okay, I see what you did with that eggplant. Do it here. And did I get that right? But I don't do that. I'm like, okay, I see your eggplant, but what you gonna do with this watermelon, motherfucker? Yeah, what you did, I know. But do something with this. Because I get girls like Taraji that don't want to write nothing on a sheet of paper. And I got and that's why they call me Miyagi, because I got to wax on, wax off. Then all of a sudden you get, karate. You got a goddamn poem on a sheet of paper and didn't even know it. And you answering questions and I'm saying, well, write that down. And then they read it out loud and go, oh my God, Mr. Young, that's a poem. How that happen? I don't know nothing about your cousin in the shoes. You know about your cousin in the shoes. I'm just asking you questions. I know nothing. All I'm doing is paying attention because she may have to be serviced in a way that I don't have the tools or the capacity to service her in. Because now, from the young lady who wasn't going to write anything in the classroom, she done spilled her guts. And I have to be responsible for the fact that she was that vulnerable with me. Because again, I don't know what she's going to put on that sheet of paper. I'm just asking her questions. She answers the question, and I say, well, write it down. And she only had to write 16 lines, but then she ended up writing 32. That's double the assignment. I don't know what she gonna do with that. I had no idea. But she trusted. I'm trying to make sure she's serviced because, and I say to her, well, we have support. I know you just said something that was because you see the shift in her after she reads the poem. Because she was, I don't want to write. Now I'm writing. Oh, I wrote a poem, but now I'm sad. Because the poem was about my cousin who got shot up. And you see all this go through her body in minutes, in matters of minutes. She go through this whole joint in minutes. And now, Vanessa, she on me like this. Getting on my last nerve, you hear me? On my last nerve. And I explained it to them the first day. I said, look here. My first name is Don't Get, last name on my nerves. I said that first day. Did I say that, Veronica? I said that. I said my first name is Don't Get, my last name is on my nerves. And she here, not because I asked her questions, because I listened to what she was saying to me. And then I also then recognized a need beyond the poem. which was, you hurting. And it takes poems to get you to say that in a more productive way. Because she's doing all things every day to say she hurt. But they get her in trouble. They get her suspended. They get, But the poem ain't going to get you in trouble. Well, hopefully. Because there's some poems that get people in trouble. Poem 2 done got me in trouble. I wasn't trying to get in trouble. Southside, February, some years ago. Don't get me in line about what year it was. I'm in a room with 7th and 8th grade boys. We're talking we're on 71st Street. Now, those who've been on the south side of Chicago, 71st Street is Emmett Till Boulevard. I bring up Emmett Till Boulevard, and they don't know who I'm talking about. And I'm like, well, you pass his name every day to get to the school. Why you don't know who Emmett Till is? I talked to the principal, and I said, give me 2 weeks. I want to come back to the school, and I want to talk to the same group of boys. And I'm gonna write a poem about Emmett Till. And I'm gonna come back and read it to him. And the principal's like, okay. When I get to the school, it just ain't the classroom with the boys. It's the whole school. It's the whole school. It's the assembly. I saw going into the classroom. I'm like, okay, I'll deal with this. But my assignment was to write a piece that they would never forget Emmett Till and would know why there's a street named after him. That they'll never forget it. And I went to church, or back to church. And I thought about this song that we sing in church about the crucifixion. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? And in this song, they go through like, nailed him on the cross, whipped him to the side, stuck a pierced him in the side. They go through a lot of things. They go through the most. And I'm like, okay, I got some bass. Now, I want to tell the story of what happens to this young man who allegedly, at the time, whistled at this white woman. M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I S-S-I-P-P-I. Oh, were you there when they did what they did to that boy? Were you there when they did what they did to that boy? Were you there when they snatched him out him uncle's house? Oh, now were you there when they snatched him out him uncle's house? Whoa, were you there when they brought him to the wife. Were you there when they brought him to the wife? Is this him? 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 Oh, Carol, is this him? Is this him? Oh, were you there? Were you there when they led him to the barn? Oh, were you there? Were you there when they led him to the barn? Oh, Lord, were you there? When they picked up a brick and played touchdown with them face. Were you there? When they picked up a brick and played touchdown with them face. Were you there? Were you there? When they took a fan belt, tied around his neck and threw him in the river. Were you there? Were you there? When they took a fan belt, tied it around his neck and threw him in the river. Were you there? Were you there to see him body wade in the water all night long? Were you there? Were you there? Feel him body wade in the water all night long. Hell, were you there? Hey, were you there? Oh, to feel him body wade in the water all them night long. Were you there? Were you there when a mama got the call? Were you there? Were you there when Mamie got the call? Hey, they got image, they got image, they got image. The white boys got image. Hey, hey, maybe they got image. Hey, they done took in it. Were you there? Were you there when they showed her mother, when they showed her son? Were you there? Oh! Were you there when they showed her mother, when they showed her son? Were you there? Were you there to hear us cry till I got wicked in knee? Oh Lord, were you there? Were you there? Hear us scream till I got wicked in knees. Were you there? Were you there? Were you there? See God cheering, see him all dressed in black. Oh, were you there? Were you there? See God cheering, see him all dressed in black. Were you there? Were you there? The city brothers cry. See the children faded. Were you there? Were you there? Hear brothers cry. See sisters fade. But were you there? Were you there? Were you there? Hear that white boy brag about what he had done. Were you there? Were you there? Hear that white boy brag about what he had done. Hey, hey, I got a nigga, green-eyed nigga, stuttering nigga. That's what I'm get. That's what I'm get. That's what I'm get for whistling at white women. Were you there? Hey! Were you there when the jury came back and said not guilty? Were you there? Were you there When the jury came back and said not guilty, oh, whoa, 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 were you there? Are you here? Juries keep coming back, saying not guilty. Hey, were you there? Are you here? Juries keep coming back, saying not guilty. Now tell me, who gonna run for image? Who gonna raise in this children? Who gonna dry him mama tears? Hey, who gonna march with him mad? Rosa had a talk with her body, and Rosa said, I'm gonna sit right here. I'm gonna sit right here for Emmett. Hey, 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 who gonna stand for Emmett? Who gonna write for Emmett? Who gonna sing for Emmett? Who gonna dance for Emmett? Who gonna run for Emmett? Who gonna kill for Emmett? Who gonna die for Emmett? Hey, who gonna live? Who gonna live? She say, Rabbi, have you been here? Trayvon wouldn't be underground. She say, Rabbi, had you been here? Whoa, Sandra would still be around. Oh, Jesus, where you be? Inside there's a land called now. Oh, Jesus, where you be? Inside this land called now. Whoa, I say, Jesus, oh, where will, when they took Malaysia off this ground, oh, Jesus, had you been here, my good boy George would still be walking around. Oh, Jesus, where you be? Inside of a land called right now. Oh, dear Rabbi, where you be? Oh, inside of this land called right now. Oh, Now if I were Jesus, I'd tell you what kind of Jesus I'd be. I too would walk on water, just to calm a raging sea. If I were Jesus, I too would give eyesight to the blind, and on any given Saturday night, I too would change water into wine. If I were Jesus, I too would make the dumb talk. If I were Jesus, I too would make the lame take up their bed and walk. Oh, if I were Jesus, I tell you what kind of Jesus I'd be. I too would look Beelzebub right in the eye, and I would tell him, you gotta get behind me. If I were Jesus, I'll tell him, I'll tell you, now I'll tell him, I'll tell you, I'll tell them and them what kind of Jesus I'd be. I'd just name them all. Lazarus, and I tell him to come forth. I name them all. Lazarus, and I tell him to come forth. I'll name Mega Lazarus. I name Mega Lazarus, and I'll tell him to come forth. I name Brianna Lazarus. I name her Lazarus, and I tell her to come forth. I'll name them all Lazarus. Oh, Lazarus, and I'll tell him to come forth. Come forth. Come forth. I named Deshaun Lazarus. I named Deshaun Lazarus, and I tell him to come forth. I name Antoine Lazarus. Whoa, Antoine. you be Lazarus, and as part of the story, you will come forth. Mm-hmm. 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 Whoa. Come forth, come forth, come forth, come forth, come forth, come forth. Hey, hey, yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come forth. Hey, look here. I need some cornbread and greens. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We got time for some questions.
Just
I'm
a
gonna-
couple. Raise
just a
your
couple.
hand really high and the mic will come to you.
Any questions? Thoughts? Concerns? Any ailments? I want any ailments? I'll tell off a piece of my sweat rag and it'll bless you. Rub it on the ailment. You know, so we were at the Photo Museum working on this piece called Performative, and it's an inflatable, and it's an homage to. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to have the microphone in my hand. It's an homage to Bronzeville, and it's based off the Mecca Flats. Now, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, if right now you went down State Street and you saw Crown Hall, that's where Mecca Flats used to be. The university, we don't get to talk about what universities does because one has me here right now in front of you, but that one over there just built on top, literally built on top of this building. They didn't dig out the basement or nothing. They just built on top of it. Like, ain't that like Architect 101? If you're going to replace a building with another building, Joni Mitchell told us, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got until it's gone. They paved Paradise and put up a parking lot. Now, they just left the bricks and all that type of shit that they built on top of this basement. But we're honoring, like in this work for Mecca, just like what Bronzeville does, because this is what happens in development. What happens in development is when people believe that the better is coming for them. And the better ain't ever coming for the people who are already there. Ask the Potawatomi.
Hi, Avery.
Yes.
Sorry, that seemed like it came from the. I had a question.
I was about to say, Jesus? Is that you, Jesus?
Amen.
Yes.
No, thank you for taking us to church. First of all, that was beautiful. That was.
Thank you.
Yes, that was
Thank you.
beautiful. It's so funny when you started talking about curators. I'm a curator, and I was like, "Do you know me from somewhere?" But I'm also a poet and spoken word artist, and I'm really interested in terms of in your journey when you've navigated spaces that have been unwelcoming for you. How did you navigate it? How did you respond to it? Did you notice it at first? And if you didn't, when you did, how did you proceed? Because I've seen a lot of your performances and your work. In your essence, you show up authentically as yourself all the time, which I really appreciate. But, not everybody does the same, and not everybody responds to that kindly. So how have you navigated that?
Can you elaborate on what you say not welcome or unwelcome? Because it's different in different, it's different. Unwelcoming can be very different.
Yeah.
Yes.
When, because it's subjective as it is.
Yes.
Objective in a systemic way.
Yes.
But subjective to maybe what you've perceived to be unwelcoming.
Yes.
So I guess when you've perceived it,
Okay.
how have you navigated?
When I was 8 years old, I told a white woman that told me that I was made of dirt. Fuck you. They ain't what I am. They ain't how I be. And I tell you why I asked that, because I've never been or felt thrown out of a place, or that the energy was so jacked up that I'm gonna leave because I'm under attack. I've never felt that way, right? Also, I believe my just makeup ain't gonna feel it no way, right? Again, I'm in third grade when I tell that white lady, that's some bullshit you just said to 8-year-olds. And I've been that way. I've been that way. It ain't nothing on life yet has to cut that switch off. I have noticed that me and bougie black people don't get along at all. Now, I have noticed that. The bourgeoisie, they all, them people who, they've just been visually upset. Like violently upset, like in a way that nobody else get upset, right? It really only people that like said to me, like, I'm upset at what you did, but never said get out. Right? But never said get out. Because they wondering, why the fuck, how you end up in here? Acting as authentic as you are. Being as free as you are, how you get up in here? And you gonna do this in front of all these white people? You gonna be this honest and black in front of all these white people? I'm not taking the perm out my hair. I'm not taking the perm out my hair. And I'm like, I ain't asked you to take the perm out your hair. Ain't that what I'm doing, telling you to take the perm out your hair? Like, and I just, like 3 weeks ago, had to put one right in her order. Because she was like, your language is low and da-da-da-da-da. And da-da-da. I said, wait a minute, let's do this. You get your phone, I'm going to get my phone. Google me. Then Google you. Let's see how this go. Get the fuck out of my face. Right? I'm going to tell you to get behind me. Right? What I just said. If I was Jesus, I'd tell you the kind of Jesus I'd be. I'd look a devil right in the eye and say, get behind me. Right? And I don't know what in me has been that joint. I couldn't tell you where that come from, but I do know that I'm not fearful of a space. If it has been known that I've been somewhere and I wasn't welcomed, or something about the molecular structure of that space shifted in a way that was harm, I've made a decision not to return. Right? Because who wants to be somewhere where they're not wanted? Right? I don't. My great-granddaddy and them did that fight. They sat at the lunchroom counters. I ain't got to do that. Woolworth don't want me there. Virtue does. Come on now. You see what I'm saying? Virtue does. So I'm going to go to Eric. I'm going to hang out with Eric now and eat some greens. I don't want that shit I don't want that Salisbury steak at fucking Woolworth, no way. Hashtag no shade. Next question, last question. Somebody behind there saying, wrap this up.
Maybe one quick more question.
Well, okay. Thank you. Yes, this right here. Oh, it's one right here too. Who is it? Oh, gonna get the mic going. No, I'm sorry, they was getting the mic. I'm sorry. Look, that's the word right there. Alpha and Omega. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll keep it quick. I just love the way you structure poetry as it being what you embody, everything. It doesn't need to necessarily be what's written on paper. I want to ask you something specific about the body and how you're sort of like just strategically seeing the things, picking it apart, peeling back the layers. What are some methods, or is there no method to it? You just do what you do.
There is a method. There is a method. The best way to explain it is when you're in, so I also think, especially when I'm performing, I'm in service. And the best way to be in service is to listen. And teach the kids and help me be a better listener or whatever, and I think also then a better artist. Because to be in service is to have this joint right here on all the time. So a lot of what's happening is me being obedient to what I'm hearing, right? And then a lot of it is me playing with what can be heard, right? I hear what you want me to say, but can I do this too? Because I understand the magic is in the leap, right? I stand at the edge all day if I want to. I ain't gonna go nowhere if I'm afraid of the edge. The magic is when I leap and knowing I'm gonna land somewhere, right? I'm not gonna bounce 3 times. I'm gonna land. I trust that because I also trust my body, right? Because I know it. I've been with it for a whole long time. And it tell me, and I gotta listen, but then I say, but what? But what about this? And then the body tells me, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know we could do that. And remember that couplet. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know we could do that. Right?
Thank you.